What's a big industry secret that isn't supposed to be known by the general public? If you have an industry secret you want to share with the rest of us, feel free to drop it in the comments. Relative of mine was a mystery shopper and did a lot of car garages. He would get sent in with a car and had to get it serviced and reported on how well it was completed, if they found all the faults, and if the customer service was up to scratch, etc. The results were usually 6 out of 10, until suddenly every garage was a 10 out of 10 continuously. He investigated as it was a bit suspicious and found MYS, which stood for mystery shopper, written on the bottom of the car he was given. One of the garages sussed him out and wrote it there for future garages to find, and make sure they have it the best possible service. TLDR, write MYS, mystery shopper, on the bottom of your car when you get it serviced to ensure it gets the best service possible. I attended a songwriting workshop at Berklee School of Music, and Anna Wise, Grammy-winning songwriter, Kendrick Lamar collaborator, told the audience during a presentation that whenever someone magically blows up on SoundCloud or YouTube, that it's not authentic. A label will sign the artist in secret, and then suddenly boost their viewership tremendously to make it look like the independent artist did it on their own. If you get involuntarily bumped from a flight, you can get paid out 200 to 400% of the flight's cost back depending on how late you get to your destination. If this happens to you, they'll offer you a bunch of vouchers, but be persistent and they'll pay you out. If the airline arranges substitute transportation that is scheduled to arrive at your destination between 1 and 2 hours after your original arrival time, between 1 and 4 hours on international flights, the airline must pay you an amount equal to 200% of your one-way fare to your final destination that day, with a $650 maximum. If the substitute transportation is scheduled to get you to your destination more than 2 hours later, 4 hours internationally, or if the airline does not make any substitute travel arrangements for you, the compensation doubles, 400% of your one-way fare, $1,300 maximum. Edit: when a flight is overbooked, they come over the PA and start handing out a few $100 vouchers and put you on the next flight. If you take one of these vouchers, you have voluntarily given up your seat. If no one takes them the first round, they keep on going up in voucher amounts, but eventually if no one takes them, they're going to have to involuntarily bump people off the plane. If this happens to you, make sure you follow above rules. Personally, in my experience, I had a SWA flight from Phoenix to Chicago on December 23 at 10 a.m. They came over the PA offering a $300 voucher and a spot on the next flight. I had nothing special to do except hang out with family, so I took it and they put me on the 12 p.m. flight. 30 minutes before boarding that flight, the same thing happens. Well, I'll take another $300 and they put me on the 3 p.m. flight. Guess what? It happens again, but this time they gave me $500, and I'm on the 6 p.m. flight. And you guessed it, they asked for volunteers again and I got another $500 and now I'm on the 8 p.m. flight. So I spent a day in the airport and sampled all the great dining options at Sky Harbor and ended up with $1,600 in SWA credits to use over the next year. Was able to go on 3 trips with my girlfriend without paying for flights. Moving forward, if I ever travel before Thanksgiving or Christmas, I'm booking the earlier flight and racking up the vouchers. At Subway, my manager never once bought real mayonnaise. The light mayo and the real mayo are both light mayo. Not sure if this is an industry practice, but a very popular online retail company in my country has no in-house web designers or any other IT staff beyond your generic networking techs. Anytime their website or back-end systems need work, they simply advertise a permanent position and give the job of sorting out whatever they need done as a trial for the candidate. Once completed, they then inform them that the position is no longer available and send them on their way. They've been doing this for years. Ever done an online insurance quote? That's just a slightly watered down version of what your insurance agent is working with. Seriously. We just put in the info and the computer spits out a price. Unless coverage or rating information changes, the price you get is what you get. 20 to 30 years ago, an agent could tell you how much different rating factors impacted the price, etc. Today's agents aren't privy to any of that information. TLDR, insurance agents don't just pull a price out of their asses and hope you'll take it. The computer does that for us. If you have a Bank of America credit or debit card, and your card gets declined and you call and find out it was because of a data breach, the fraud department that you speak to is forced by the bank to tell you that they can't see where or when the data breach occurred, but we can see it. It shows us right there on our computer. It's really annoying for everyone involved, other than the bank apparently, since they're the ones that enforce this. It's a major problem because your card gets completely shut off right there over the phone, and we have to send in a request to have a completely new card and card number sent to you. Then, you wait about 2 weeks to receive it in the mail, and have to change everything you pay your bills on to the new card number. But if you go back to the store with that new card that had the data breach and they still haven't resolved the problem with the breach, then your card will be shut off again. Rinse and repeat. Please try not to get too angry at the people you talk to on the phone. They don't work at BOA, they're just lowly call center workers, and they're fired if they tell you where it happened. The bank is saving their own ass to not piss off big companies that don't want that info to leak to the public. Mr. Clean Magic erasers are just melamine sponges in a fancy box with a fancy label. They retail for about $1 a sponge. $6.50 for an 8-pack is a sale price. You can get a 100-pack on eBay for $4.99, free shipping. I work for a web design development agency in Canada. Clients think they pay us to do the work. The reality, we charge anywhere from $5,000 to $200,000 plus for web projects. We take 90% of those projects and outsource them to India for $200. The projects come back built so poorly, we spend months fixing them. The CEO laughs to the bank. I don't agree with the process, but that's why I quit and start a new job next week. Grocery store bakeries do not bake the cakes they decorate. That stuff comes in frozen. I can't bake you a carrot cake. On top of that, most of the baking in grocery store bakeries is just pulling frozen pastries or muffins or whatever out of a box and panning it up, then putting it in the proofer or oven. We don't really make things anymore. Record labels and producers sometimes use ghost vocalists for pop stars who really can't sing. Ghost vocalists are like singing impressionists who come into the studio and re-sing the song in the style of the pop star, but better. Often the pop stars in question don't even know that their vocals have been replaced. Oh, and, for the record, no pun, terrible singers can't be fixed with autotune. It is only used to polish slightly untidy vocals. This is why ghost vocalists are used. I work in the trucking industry and it's frightening how much food product is sold and resold after being rejected. Had a customer have a load of cheese refused because it was too warm, but took it back to another warehouse, cooled it down and resold it to another customer. I have seen it done with cheese, juice, meat and seafood. Only seen it done about 4 to 5 times out of 10,000 plus loads I have moved, but that is still too high. Hospitals and doctors' office bills in the US can be negotiated, and many will offer huge cash discounts if you pay at the time of service. But once the insurance gets billed, there is much less room for negotiation. If your bill gets applied to the insurance deductible, then the facility, by law, is supposed to collect the full amount that was applied to the deductible from you. Also, if there's a co-pay, the facility, by law, is supposed to collect that as well. For the average person on a high deductible plan, $1,000 plus, you'd have to get cancer, or be in a huge trauma for the insurance to kick in any meaningful payment. Insider advice, when you make an appointment at a doctor's office, ask if they have a point of service discount. Also, if you go to a hospital, don't let them know you have insurance until after they give you the bill. Do the negotiation first, then do the math and see if it's cheaper to pay out of pocket. If not, the facility has 6 months to bill your insurance after the date of service. Companies have quarterly targets, including shops. So if you're buying, for example, a fancy watch, go in at the very end of the quarter and lowball them. If they haven't hit target for that quarter, then they're often likely to cut you a deal. Something they probably won't do at the start of the quarter. If they've hit target, just wait. Juries can return a not guilty verdict even if they agree that the defendant broke the law, if they feel the law itself is unjust. This is referred to as jury nullification, and judges do not want jurors to know about it, even going so far as to hold people handing out literature about it in front of courthouses in contempt of court. At UPS, whether or not your package is labeled "do not lay flat," "fragile," or "high value," it's being treated as if it's labeled "red-headed stepchild." Thrown, smashed, stepped on, kicked, punched, water poured on it, etc., whatever it takes to get it away from us. Pizza Hut managers are trained to give you free food if you complain about anything and with zero proof required. If they refuse to give you free food, call the corporate hotline and they will give you free food while reprimanding the store and manager in question. Midway Games at carnivals or fairs purposely let people win early on in the day. This way people carry around the prizes and advertise them for the rest of the day. Customer service text chat can see what you're typing in the box before you hit send. The fresh chocolate chip cookie scent that can be smelled outside of the Magic Kingdom bakery is artificial. It's piped out there to draw you into the bakery. Nothing Bundt cakes is not made with natural ingredients or fresh every day. They can be kept frozen for a few weeks and our eggs come out of a giant bag, pre-mixed. You do not even want to know how much red dye goes into that damn red velvet cake.